target. Picking it up is Owen Tippett. Turbocharge time. Tippett spins, backhander, he scores! Somehow, he just one-upped himself from the other night.
Franchise record of 68 points in a game. Chance at 70. Embiid, coast to coast for 70.
Final half minute of this third quarter. Eagles try to retake the lead. Hurts, complete, through the tackler's Brown, to the end zone, touchdown, Philadelphia. The 1-2 pitch. Hit toward third. Castro has it, spins, fires, a perfect game. Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history. He faces 27 batters. He retires all 27. In this building, start things off as the puck is deflected near the Pittsburgh dugout. Crosby is back to the ice with a hard hitter. And now Yager trying to play it ahead, but it's knocked away. Picked up here, though, by Giroux. Touchdown! Oh, Giroux, 32 seconds in. Iverson, bothered by Lou. Iverson. Oh, how about that? That steps over Teron Lou. They're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Talking 2 and 5, and we are talking expectations.
Expectations, Jake.
Expectations.
We got a
around
lot
Philadelphia.
of stuff going on right now.
Look, for everybody joining, you got 24 minutes till tip off in basketball. So hey, we appreciate you hopping in. We're probably gonna start it right off the bat with Sixers because we understand those that are tuning in now may be hopping off shortly to watch the game. We're gonna be having the game on here in the background. So looking forward to that. But yeah, just expectations around the city of Philadelphia in general, and obviously our big sports, and see if we're meeting expectations, our expectations for this year's draft. We'll probably talk some previous year's draft. The Phillies, are they meeting, exceeding expectations even possibly?
I'm excited to talk about Phils.
So we're going to crack into all that. Before we crack into that, I'm going to crack into a little Dewey El Trono.
El Trono.
El Trono. This is a beer that you can drink for free. That is correct. For free.
Where?
This weekend at the G Spot. Oh, the G Lot.
The G Spot, G Lot. That
That's
sounds like a fun time, Jake. What else are we doing over there?
We got bucket golf tournament, the 3-hole bucket golf tournament. We're going to have the hole-in-one challenge. We have a ton of great prizes that our friends over at Dewey Beer provided for us. So we're really looking forward to giving you out some sweet hats, some sweet Dewey hats, bucket golf, all kinds of really fun stuff. And this is as long as the game's not postponed.
Yeah.
I'd say weather permitting, but look, as long as the game's not postponed.
Fingers crossed it's going to be a little chilly, but the rain might pass. Half an inch, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Half an inch makes a big difference. So,
yes, it does.
So my wife says.
Some say.
But we're checking the forecast. Come meet us there. Rain or shine, we're going to be there.
Yeah, we're going to be there 2:00. It's the one evening game for the Sunday series of the season. So we're really looking forward to that. Of course, it's 87 degrees today. We're out on the golf course.
Beautiful.
Whisper of a breeze, just a beautiful day. And then it's 60 degrees and rain.
And we get the night game, the one Sunday night game where we can really get it. No, it's
really tie one on,
It's but we will be there. We hope that you are there as well. Come drink some Dewey with us. Come play some bucket golf.
Dewey hooked us up with about 200 of their delicious beers. We got the Swishy Pants, which everybody knows and loves. 7.5%.
That's a heater. We got the summer camp as well.
That's the old wheeler. That's the high and inside.
If you want a lighter IPA, they gave us the summer camp as well. And of course, we have the Tronos. That's Jake's favorite, if you haven't noticed.
It is. But we got koozies, we got hats, we got beer to give out to you all for free. You know how we do it here. If it's not for a charity, we're giving it out. If it's for a charity, we're just asking to help out a great cause, but we're never asking here for any money or anything. And speaking of giveaways, tomorrow at 6 p.m. is the deadline for the pair of Phillies tickets.
Get it in. It's free.
Massive game. The giveaway. People are talking about this is the giveaway of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's the giveaway of the season. It's the Mother's Day game. It's a week early, but they're obviously on the road over Mother's Day. So it's for women 15 and older. It is a sweet bucket hat.
Yep.
Really sweet bucket hat. And look, if you're not a woman, it's 2024. You can just say you are.
Yeah, I might. I want to try to get one, honestly.
I mean, they can't say no.
But hey, it's free to enter. Just go on our Twitter or Instagram. It's all right there.
We got Twitter. It's running on Twitter and Instagram. If you're entered in one, go hop on the other, get an extra entry. We're not here being like, oh, they already entered in one. No.
And Jake, we joke about this all the time. In the parking lot, we got the flag that says free beer, and people are like, is this actually free? It's literally free, friends. And with that, go do it. It's free.
With that, do not trust any other account claiming to be affiliated with it. We've already had a handful of accounts just changing like one little letter in the username, trying to be like, oh, hey, we're going to be notifying the winners and everything. We are the only account that would be reaching out to you in regards to this giveaway. We're not going to be we're not going to be asking for any information other than your email. That's it. And that's only because the tickets are all virtual and we have to email them to you. We're not going to be asking for any personal information. We will never ask for money for these. So any account that is claiming to be us or affiliated with the giveaway, do not trust them. Please report them and notify us of what is going on. But yeah, big things coming. We have a big bucket golf tournament coming up in a couple of months. We're talking with Jamie, the Philly sports guy. He wants to be heavily involved in it, and it's also going to be benefiting charity. And we're thinking, let us know in the comments whether you think it's a good idea or not. We're thinking about making this a qualifying event.
Ooh, so qualifier.
It's a tournament, so like there's still a winner for like prizes for the winner.
Yeah, we're thinking like top 10 scores.
We're hoping to get 100 people.
Yeah,
we're hoping to get 100 people, and the top 10 scores automatically get qualified to the bucket golf. We're trying to think of the name.
Love that.
A major.
Love that.
You know how golf, there's 4 majors of the year. We're trying to think of the name, whether it's the Bucket Golf Masters, the Bucket Golf Championship, like the PGA Championship. We're trying to figure it out. Don't know if you can call it the Bucket Golf Open. Maybe.
The qualifiers can be the Open.
Could be.
They could be, the Phillies Open, the Eagles Open.
Exactly. So
and listen, when you go and play the Masters, all those people, they're not drinking, they're not having fun, they're not vibing, listening to music. You know what you're doing when you come play bucket golf with us in the G Lot?
You're vibing.
You're having a good time.
You're having a good time.
Yes.
You're not you pizzaed when you should have pizzaed. You're in for a good time.
A good time. So jumping into expectations, let's start with the Flyers. Actually,
expectations. I mean, if we're all lying to ourselves if this wasn't kind of who we thought the Flyers were.
This I think they exceeded those expectations.
Look, for 2/3 of the season.
Yeah, and then there was a little bumps on the road
down the stretch, and if you win 2 of those games, they're playing probably tonight.
Yeah.
But
they're getting smoked in the first round. No one thought this Flyers team was making a deep playoff run. We were in competition.
They didn't. So it's not like we can be.
It's exactly. The expectation was going to be a piss poor team that's in a rebuilding phase, waiting on a couple of players. The Carter Hart thing, we all know it. We're not going to cover it again. That was unfortunate, but we got another goalie. We got the second tallest goalie in the league, Fedotov.
Yeah, I mean, look. More body weight covers more area.
The dude's like 9'1". I mean, it's looking up
in the crease.
I think Flyers.
He didn't really show me a whole lot. I saw a report. Mitchkov. Apparently, there's a very, 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 very slim chance that he's coming over next year.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get his contract voided, but generally speaking, I think the Flyers did well, given what all the pundits were saying, given what even we were saying.
Yeah, I mean, look. You can sit here and make a million excuses like LeBron James does. They had a lot of injuries on defense. Yeah, Jamie Drysdale in and out of there the whole time. He traded away one of your top defensemen and got a big return for him. And then the other guys are young. Cam York's young. Travis Sanheim, he's like one of their staples in defense. He's still relatively young. He's a veteran on the team because he's been one of the only guys that's really been there for a little bit. But you didn't really have a goal scorer outside of Konechny. And then towards the end of the season, he had a little stretch where he was injured for a brief amount, and then he came back a little bit slow, heated up at the end.
Yeah.
He had a very good season. Very happy about that. Couturier obviously had a terrible year. You can ask him. He'd tell you the same thing. But no, I mean, I think they exceeded expectations for 2/3 of the season.
Yeah.
That's it. And then they showed us exactly who they were.
Hey, What do they say? D's get degrees. 66% of the year, they did very well.
That's an F.
No, that's a D.
When I was in school, anything below 70 was an F.
Would you go to a Montessori school?
No, I
What
went
the-
to Brandywine School District.
Ooh, good old Brandywine. Shout out Delaware.
Now all this 10 like point grading scale.
These days,
I would have had a 3.6
Yeah, you
if
would,
we did a
yeah.
10-point grading scale. Mine, a 93 was the cutoff for A, 85 for B, 77 for
Oof,
C,
rough.
70 for D. Now it's 90 and above A, 80. I was like, come on, it's a big difference.
I don't think it's even 9. I think it's like 88 is an A
No,
these days.
They changed it because it was a 10-point grading scale. Either way, we're going off on a tangent.
Yeah, we're
that
gonna
we typically do. Flyers, they were exactly what we thought.
We'll say mostly good. It could have been better. We could have made the playoffs, but
Yeah, I mean, look, this is not going to be an exciting offseason. There's not a whole lot of big name free agents. There's not a whole lot of draft prospects where we expect to be picking. I believe there's probably a half of a percentage point that we're going to be picking in the top 3. We're most likely picking in the low double digits, which you're going to find somebody that's going to play in the NHL in the next 3 years in that range, but you're not you're not going to be finding a serious, franchise altering player.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough sledding road.
It will
for the Flyers for the next couple of years. I love hockey. I played it for years. You played it for years. I mean, the most fun sport. We were like, I'm a pretty damn good golfer.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty good golfer. I was not a very good hockey player, and I had 10 times the fun playing hockey.
Hockey is such a fun,
any other sport.
Fast-paced, fast-moving sport. I mean, I played goalie half the time.
Talking shit. You're
half the
hitting
time. I'm
people.
just sitting there. I'm like, oh, it's in the other end. I can take a drink of water, and then 3 seconds later, I got it's a fast break opportunity there. No, hockey's great, and Flyers. We are, I would say, on the upswing. I vote that. You comfortable saying we're on the upswing? I mean, we got a lot of players in the pipeline.
I actually think we'll probably be a little bit worse next year.
Okay.
I think we'll be a little bit worse next year. Or right about the same. I don't expect next year. I expect the year after that. I expect to be a lot better. We're going to have a lot more cap space. We're going to be able to go after a few different guys in free agency. We do have a fair amount of draft capital, whether you want to go that route, whether you want to say, hey, instead of drafting somebody young and kind of prolong it. Because look, in the NHL, you're likely, unless you're picking one of these guys in the top 3 picks, they're likely, it's like baseball. You're not getting them into the majors.
It's a development thing.
Exactly.
And they let them play out college too. That's a big thing with hockey is, continue to play at BC, develop that talent, and then we'll see you in 4 years, hopefully, because they're probably also, if you're talking about a pick 5 through 10, they're going to play at their AHL affiliate.
Yeah.
And RIP to the Wells Fargo Spectrum where the Phantoms used to play. Now they're in Hershey?
No, Lehigh Valley.
Lehigh Valley, yeah.
Lehigh Valley Phantoms. No, it's tough. The Flyers, I mean, there's not much you can talk about them. Off season's right in the middle of it. Draft, I think, is coming up. It's usually in June or July.
June,
one of the hot
I think,
months.
yeah.
So it's coming up. I trust Danny Briere. I love Keith Jones. He's the man. So I'm interested to see what they can do. I believe Danny Briere is in Finland right now.
Ooh,
I believe so.
Finland.
So
I mean, highlight of the Flyer season was Wayne Simmons signing the 1-day contract to retire a Flyer.
Of course. Also, shout out Jacob Voracek.
Yeah, Voracek as well.
I don't know if he signed.
I don't think he retired a Flyer. I know Simmons did, but
he spent a vast majority of the season with the
Flyers.
Yeah,
big shout out to Simmons and Voracek, both longtime Flyers, very well respected careers. Love you. On to the 76ers.
Yeah. No, we said we were going to talk about them. They're tipping off here in about 15 minutes. Expectations are high. We were one of, if not the best team in the East when Joel was healthy during the regular season. They were buzzing. Joel was putting up insane numbers. He had a higher points than minute pace. He was at like 1.05 points per minute, which is insane. You never see people really average more points than they do minutes. And then obviously he missed 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's a rehab stint too. I mean, you're not coming back 100%. Yeah,
you're talking about a big boy. Like, no, I mean, Doc said it. Doc Mesa was like, look, when he's back, I'm not worried about the injury anymore. I'm worried about the conditioning.
Yep.
I'm worried about a guy that's 7'2", close to probably 300 pounds, getting back into playing 40 plus minutes a game.
And the forces on his body are very different than me and you at our
stature.
Yes. And it's getting back into shape, getting healthy, getting going again. That's the big thing, is how do we get Joel going again kind of thing.
Exactly.
And he's playoffs, pulled it up right here, 10.4 rebounds average per game.
No, don't talk to me about rebounds with the Sixers. The Sixers, the only reason the series is still going on is, one, the officials in game 2. Just atrocious. They literally they turned the series from a best of 7 series to a best of 5 series for the Knicks and a best of 9 series for the Sixers because they handed the Knicks a win and they took one away from the Sixers. And they're saying, hey, you're going to have to win 5 games to win the series because they won game 2.
Yeah.
And they had it stolen from them. They had 4 incorrect calls in the last 25 seconds that if they get one of those correct, the game ends.
It swings it. Well, completely.
One of them correct. Completely different outcome with everything going on with that. But the rebounds are atrocious. Look, we had Coach on. Shout out, Coach. He was saying, hey, you want to have a fun drinking game? Have shots anytime you see more than 3 Knicks in the paint on any offensive shot. He's like, you'll be trashed.
Yeah.
And then take a shot anytime you see more than 2 Sixers in the paint in anything, in a defense or offense. He's like, you'll be bone dry sober.
Yeah.
He's like, this team just doesn't have the aggression, doesn't have the heart to get into the paint, really force those boards. I mean, you're watching possessions where they are just getting nonstop second chance opportunities, nonstop second chance points. I believe 19 of their points in the fourth quarter, or it was like the last 8 minutes of the game in game 3 or game 4. It was game 4 was in second chance points. Yeah. Where they just got offensive rebounds.
With any sport, but basketball, it's a game of possession. It's not as important, I would say, as football, keeping time. Time of possession on offense, get your defense a little rest. But if your offense just gets a second chance shot or your defense gets the ball back and you can't generate scoring points, that's what's happening right now.
No, I mean, the biggest joke with this whole thing is the owner. I mean, you're talking about the Knicks taking over the stadium, everything. Like, that's pathetic. But you're outpricing everybody. When the ticket prices are so through the roof, and you got people that are season ticket holders have the opportunity to buy these postseason tickets, and they're looking at how much they're selling for, you're like, you can't blame somebody for being like,
absolutely.
I can get $1,000 for my tickets.
Well, and our good buddy Adam has season tickets, bought all of the home tickets. He's been to one game. Him and his fiance have been to one game because they buy them for what they are, and then they just resell them. That pays for that's your mortgage payment or half of it. It's
just you price out all the real fans, and that's why you have David Rubin, you have or Michael Rubin, you have David whoever buying 2,000 tickets, giving them out to first responders. I mean, I'm a first responder and a Sixers fan.
Yeah.
Where the hell's my ticket?
Do you want a discount on your ticket?
Where the hell's my ticket? They're supposed to. They gave out 2,000 of them. I didn't get. I reached out to. And I work in Pennsylvania.
That's also not a very significant amount. With that, with that arena holds 2,000 tickets.
No, but you got to figure. I mean, 2,000 tickets being available, they got to. You got to figure most of the tickets have already been purchased.
The guy that owns the team is a billionaire.
Yeah,
he can buy the whole arena.
He owns 3 teams. He owns the Devils, the Sixers, and the Commanders.
He does.
And he's an awful owner. Get him out of sports. The best thing they can do for this team is getting Joshua Harris out of it. Like you had Rob McElhenney saying today that he's desperately tried to buy a Philadelphia team. He did say in his interview, he was like, specifically only mentioned Lurie and Middleton. So it seems like he's more leaning.
Lurie's not
no. But like
partial
some
ownership,
kind of minority ownership and all. And he, only referenced the Eagles and the Phillies. So I don't know if you'd even be open to that, but I would be open to anybody else owning this team.
Yeah.
I mean, he treats it like a business. And look, I get it. It is a business.
It's an investment.
Technically, it is a business.
And you have to look at the bottom line, but it's the same thing with the Phillies taking away the dollar dogs. Shout out, bring back dollar dogs.
I'm not talking about
if you haven't heard, bring back dollar dogs, tackle up. We have the shirt. Jake's wearing it. It's super sweet. We're both getting a little tan, and we're gonna wear these on the golf course, keep the sun off of us. But yeah, go check it out. Tackleup.net.
Tackleup.net.
So
Talking 215.
Expectations for the Sixers. Have we met at this point?
We failed to meet expectations.
Failed.
Yes.
We're
down in a series against the Knicks, who are without Bogdanovich. They're without Julius Randle. They're missing guys. We're having Dante DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein. And why am I blanking on his name? The offensive Fowler himself, the guy that's carrying this team right now and is just get away with murder. I don't know why. Jalen Brunson are just beating us up and down the floor. Yeah. And when is somebody going to step up? Like Kelly Oubre is doing fine. He's averaging like 12.5 points. Yeah. That's great. He's on a veteran minimum. So based on the amount of money he's making, he's doing great. But you 12, see these guys. You see Dante DiVincenzo. Damn, I said 12.5. I'm doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, you were pulling one off.
Pretty good.
Hey, high five, bud.
Yeah. But you got Dante DiVincenzo putting up big numbers. You have before Bogdanovich went up, he would come in and hit some big shots. Nicholas Batum in the play-in game.
Yeah.
Willed us to that win. He's been nothing. He's averaged less than 3 points a game in this series. Stinking Buddy Hield was supposed to be this big guy we traded for.
Yeah.
He's been a healthy scratch the past 2 games. I don't even know if he's playing tonight.
He has averaged in the postseason 9.7 minutes a game.
Great. I thought you were about to say 9 points. I was like 0% chance.
Oh, no. 0.7 points a game.
Oh,
is
good.
his average.
He's averaging less than a point per game.
Yeah.
And then you got Tobias Harris. Like,
there we go.
Tobias. He's averaging probably like 11 points. He'll hit a 3, and then in the next possession will completely airball one. He'll get 3 of his own offensive rebounds and never put it in for a second chance. He'll turn it over. Like, it's so frustrating because he'll do one thing good and 3 things bad.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the hell are you doing out there? When can somebody step up? And like, Joel's catching a lot of flack for this series. He, in the fourth quarter, game 3, he carried them to that victory. He had 15 points in the fourth quarter. He had 1 point in the fourth quarter in game 4. I think he had 6 points in both game 1 and game 2 in the fourth. Like, but you're watching him out there. Other than game 4, he's been really giving it his all. He's been putting a lot of effort out there. And then obviously Tyrese,
I was about to transition you into that. Like, the man is playing very well right now.
He's playing out of his melon.
He is.
Are you kidding me?
He's the highest average minutes.
That shot to send it to overtime.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. He was on. He was on the E of New York on their logo.
I mean, he's scoring, he's assisting, he's helping out in the defense, he's rebounding, he's doing all the things.
He's doing literally everything that you need. He's the only reason the series isn't over.
Yeah. He's picking up that slack
easily because of the overtime or the 3 to send up to overtime. But it would have been over. It would have been a clean sweep if not for Tyrese Maxey. So I need somebody to step up because my expectations heading into this series after they beat the Heat, my expectations were this team is going to win in 5 against the Knicks. They're going to face probably the Bucks in the second series. And we talked about, Barstool Smitty said at Poker Night, his wet dream is they go down 3-1 against Glenn Rivers and the Bucks, and they come back and win and give Glenn another 3-1 defeat to continue
to add it to his resume.
Record-breaking 3-1 series losses. And then you go ahead and you play the Celtics, who we've played tough most of the season. They're probably the better team, but you play them tough. We match up well against them. But this team is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
The effort is atrocious. I mean, I don't want to say they got lucky. They got Tyrese Maxey. They got Tyrese Maxey in game 5.
You got one guy throwing his back out to just put them on their shoulders and get them there.
Yeah. No,
and it needs to be more players helping out.
Yeah. I mean, game 4, they were down probably at one point it was like 4 points with about 3 minutes to go. They're letting the shot clock get down to 8 before they even make their first pass. And then they're rushing. They're taking these highly contested, ugly shots, just chucking something up on a wing and a prayer, brick, air ball, turnover, blocked. Because when there's 2 seconds left on the shot clock, they know you're not passing it. So they all converge on the guy that has the ball, and it's blocked, it's contested. You're getting nothing done. There's zero sense of urgency. They have the ball. It's like 28 seconds left, and it's a 4-point game. They don't get a shot off until there's 8 seconds left on the clock. They took 20 seconds to even get a shot off. It was embarrassing. And I don't even put so much of it on Nick Nurse. I really don't. Like, I think he's a fine coach. It's the players out there. There's only one guy with real serious heart, and that's Maxey. And then Joel's doing the best he can. But you see more and more, you have to have that conversation of how far can this team go with Joel?
Yeah.
I love Joel. He's one of, if not the best big man. He's the best big man we've had since Wilt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the top. He could be, by the end of his career, a top 10 big men in the NBA history.
Yeah. But the conversation is, how deep can you take this team? How far can we go? And
yeah, I mean, what team has been carried other than Wilt? What team has been carried by a center? Like Shaq. Shaq had Kobe.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? What team has really been carried by a center? And look, Joel is one of the best big men in my lifetime, that I've seen. And, I mean, obviously Shaq played my lifetime, and he's, might be the big man GOAT. He's in that conversation, but you just have these guys where it's like, what can a center really, really do to take over a game? And he should be abusing Isaiah Hartenstein. He's got the size advantage, the muscle advantage, everything. He's doing fine. I mean, Joel's, I can't sit here and bash Joel or anything. I think
we're not
doing
bashing
fine
Joel,
this
but your point stands. Is when was the last time a championship team without an elite shooter or two?
Yeah, I mean, we thought we were getting a 3-point
Made
shooter with Buddy Hield, and he's been a nothing.
He's been nothing.
He's been absolutely nothing. You signed Ricky Council to a 4-year deal before the season ends. I haven't even seen him on the floor the entire postseason. You're getting Kelly Oubre giving you good times. Anthony Melton's been in and out of the lineup because of this back issue. Obviously, that stinks. But again, Kobe said it when they lost in the series. He's like, look, I can make a million excuses, but at the end of the day, they played better than us. And you can't sit here and blame anything other than the Sixers right now. There's lack of heart, lack of effort. And we got 1 minute till, well, it's probably more like 6 minutes.
Yeah, they're not
never on time.
But I mean, that's the name of the game in basketball.
Also, why the hell are we playing at 9?
You have
two East Coast teams.
It's prime time, baby.
The hell are we playing? It's not prime time.
What even is today? Thursday.
9 o'clock on a Thursday. What a dumb time to play basketball. Like, I get it. You have Milwaukee and Indianapolis playing right now. Also, Bucks getting smoked. Down 30 or down 22.
Oof.
I mean, there's 10 seconds left. So they lost.
Yeah.
They lost.
They're done.
They are done.
Hopefully,
they're out.
Hopefully, you didn't parlay that.
They're out. Bucks are out of the postseason.
Eliminated.
Glenn Rivers could not carry the number 3 seed Bucks past the first round, past the Indianapolis.
But no, with 11 roster spots, right? You have 5 stars, 6 bench.
Shout out Pat Bev.
That's
final game of the series, 6 points.
That's basketball. You need it's harder to hide. I mean, hockey is 26 roster spots. Football is 52. 53. And when you're not playing hard, it's very much more noticeable in basketball.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why everybody says they like March Madness more than they like any kind of NBA, or they like college basketball in general more than the NBA, because you got guys playing with every ounce of their being. Everything's left on the court. And then you have people literally saying, oh, the regular season doesn't matter. Like, if you, and I've said this for years, if you want to make the regular season matter in NBA, give buys.
Yeah.
Make them want the top 2 seeds, because the top 2 get buys.
Give the good teams a little bit of rest. Give them some time off.
Get a buy. You want people playing hard in the regular season in the NBA, even if you just give the top seed, like NFL, only the top seed now gets a buy. Even if you just give the top seed a buy, it's going to be more competitive until somebody runs away with it.
Yeah.
But figure out a way to incentivize winning more games in the regular season, because the mid-season tournament isn't it.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
No. And like they say they
LeBron's
do.
Sitting there talking about, one time we were full.
Our equipment manager gets a little extra money, and I'm like, good for you. Or like rookie contract. Sure. Yes. Great. Thank you. I would do a lot for $1 million. But at the end of the day, the mid-season tournament isn't it. No. And you get these guys, we've talked about this before. I mean, Ben Simmons gets his contract. He's soft. I'm not gonna dredge this up. Sorry, Jake, for triggering you, but yeah, it doesn't have the same heart. You need to play. You need to show up, especially in the postseason. The Sixers need to be going to the areas that they need to be making the plays in, going into the paint, getting those rebounds.
And the toughest part is we are going to have a shit ton of cap space this offseason, and Daryl Morey is still going to be in charge. And it's all of, do you trust Daryl Morey? Do you don't? I don't trust Daryl Morey. The number one thing that you can't do heading this offseason is allow Daryl Morey to be in control. Like, you're hearing them talk about, if Paul George is available, they're going to be really monitoring that situation closely. I mean, how old is Paul George?
He's 38.
He's having a good postseason. Sure, like he's having a fine postseason.
I mean, give me Paul George 10 years ago. Yeah. Yes, chase him down. Right now, no.
Paul George, he's 34.
34.
34. So it's not ancient, but you're giving him at least 4 years and a max.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving him 4 years. You're hoping to get 2 years. He's always injured every now and then. I don't know. I don't even know who you'd go after, because if anybody's even close nowadays to being a top tier player, they're automatically getting the max.
Yeah.
Even though if they don't deserve it. Like, so you got all this money. You're going to have to really revamp this team. Tobias Harris is gone. And look, one of my hot takes was, if Tobias Harris is willing to take significantly less, I'm fine with bringing him back.
Yeah.
Well, my big problem is he's getting paid a max deal and he's playing terribly. You're paying him somewhere close to a veteran minimum, which obviously he's not going to get that. He's, in the regular season, he did enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to get
Yeah, we can split
like
the
that.
difference here. He's not getting a max from the Sixers.
He's not getting a max from anybody.
No, but he probably will. And anyway, we're called the 76ers.
Failing to meet expectations.
We're
gonna find out. Look, that can change. The season is not over. The series is not over.
Listen, I would be elated to have another pod in a month with the Sixers still in the playoffs, and I will revise that grade.
Sure. Right now, they're failing to meet expectations, but the jury is still out.
Truth. Eagles draft.
I mean, look, you want to go into expectations. I mean, he killed it. But again,
he killed it.
You can't grade a draft for at least 2 years, if not 3
That's
or
fair.
more.
That's very fair.
You can't. And so on paper, based on everybody's mocks, based on who people really, really liked coming out of this draft, killed it.
Yes.
I mean, Quinn Mitchell, number 1 cornerback prospect in the draft.
And there was a lot of talk about who the number 1 corner is, but he was high on the Eagles board. They stayed pat. I said this when we were down at the beach. I said how he's trading up. Yeah. I said he's moving up, and he stayed pat. He got his guy. It
sounded like he was interested in doing that, but then when it went, it was like 15 straight defensive or offensive players. Yeah. I was licking my chops.
Yeah, it was 14 of the first 16 players were offensive or offensive line. Like, that's crazy.
I think it might have been 15 of the first 16. It was something nuts, but I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And it just made everything fall perfectly in place for the Eagles. And it gave them the opportunity to then day 2 trade up to 40. Because if you're trading up in day 1, you're not going to have any kind of assets, or at least without really mortgaging some of the future to be able to move up from 50 to 40. But they never had to trade up in round 1. They were able to package a deal to get up in round 2. They both got, they didn't overpay. If you look at the value of every pick and all, the Commanders obviously had a little bit of a higher value, but you're going to have to pay a little bit more if you're the buyer rather than the seller. And they got their guy. I mean, all season we're talking, Quinion Mitchell, Terry, and Arnold, they're going to be gone by 22. Cooper DeJean is the guy we could really see them taking at 22. He's what we call he's a defensive back. He's not a corner. He's not a safety. He's not a nickel. He's a DB.
Yeah,
you can put him anywhere.
He's a utility piece.
Press, off coverage, over the top.
And me and you had we get a phone call like middle of the day too. We were talking about it. The rest of our division didn't get much better.
No, I mean, the Commanders had a good draft, but you're talking about a rookie quarterback. You're talking about
years of development. It's not like
Austin Eckler, who's like, you want to talk about Paul George being old.
Yeah, right.
Austin Eckler for a running back is ancient.
He is. And so the teams around us didn't get much better. The Cowboys also
did nothing.
Nothing.
The best part is the stinking Ezekiel Elliott trade, or not trade, signing.
Re-signing.
And people are like, Zeke at $2 million or $3 million, whatever he signed for, is so much better than Saquon at 27.
It's not.
Look at the cap.
It's not.
They are paying almost triple this season for Zeke on under cap space because they are still paying him $7 million against the cap from when they cut him.
Dead money,
and they signed him for $2 million. So he's $9 million against the cap for 2024. Saquon Barkley is $3.7 million against the cap for 2024.
I mean, we were the famous clip. Cap Howie, Wizard.
Oh, Wizard. Yeah. Draft Howie, Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
When he hits, it's a home run. And when he misses, it's a pop up to first or a strikeout.
The whole Zeke thing, the Saquon, and the Eagles got a lot better in the past 2 months.
The Cowboys focused on offensive line, which they desperately needed to. They literally couldn't play their offensive or pay their offensive linemen because of the dead money that they were paying to guys like Zeke. And they went out and they got a tackle in the first round. They got a good guard in the third. Cooper Beebe was the guy that the Eagles wanted to take there, and they got him 4 or 5 picks ahead of him. And then you obviously saw how he trade what seemed to be the next 37 picks of the draft after he went and they selected Jalix Hunt with the last pick of the third round or one of the last picks of the third round. And look, for everybody like, who? We talked about it, and we have a clip on our socials here where Coach is talking about Jalix Hunt. A lot of people were like, oh, it's Davion Taylor again, another reach in the third round of a super athletic guy that's super raw. You're talking about the difference between an outside linebacker and a pass rusher. When you're an outside linebacker, you need a hell of a lot more than athleticism. You need a high football IQ. You need to know exactly what to cover when they do it. Any kind of pre-snap motion, any kind of change, anything like that. Coach said it. Again, shout out Coach. Coach said it. Pass rusher, it's see ball, get ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Attack,
so
attack,
a freak
attack.
athletic player on as an edge rusher is a hell of a lot more valuable than a raw freak athletic player at outside linebacker because it requires, and look, I'm not saying he doesn't have an incredible football sense. Like, I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying edge rushers don't need to have a high football IQ, but they certainly don't need it as much as some other positions.
Yeah.
You're there and you are just, hey, get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we're talking about, you know, you got to figure out which gap you want to do. You got to read and react to how the offense
there is a little bit of nuance to it, but yes, it's just go,
and
attack.
When this guy is just an absolute incredible athlete, that's where the value is of we can take this 3rd round pick. And if you want to believe the reports or not, everybody always wants to say it right after they have a guy where some people are like, wait, who is, this was Vic Fangio's number 1 guy coming out of the draft. He was his Vic Fangio's sleeper. That was his guy that he had.
That was the one that you take.
So it's like, whether you believe that or not, a lot of times teams put that out there just to try to sell the pick a little bit more.
Yes.
But if that is the case, and obviously Fangio had his fingerprints all over this draft. This is he
did.
The first time since 01 we've taken taken a DB in the 1st round, and then we took another one in the 2nd round.
Yep.
And it happens to also be the first year that we have Vic as defensive coordinator. Clearly that played a role.
And it was very, very heavy on the defensive side too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
good.
What do we have? We have
good. What do we need on offense?
We got Shipley and Smith. So Smith, that's one we should talk about.
We have 2 wide receivers and a running back.
So our wide receiver
Ainias
3, Ainias Smith. How you feeling on that?
I mean, he's going to be your punt returner,
probably
right off the bat. So I don't see a lot coming out of him at wide receiver 3. I really do like Paris Campbell. He's another 4-3 guy. People don't really talk about it a lot. Devontae Parker, if he can somehow get back to being the same player he was 3 years ago, this is a guy that people wanted the Eagles to bring in as a wide receiver 2.
I know.
A couple of years ago. He's obviously, but again, he was on the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones.
Bill Belichick, whose offenses are never anything crazy. They relied on Tom Brady and white wide receivers.
Tom Brady, they
relied on Tom Brady and white wide receivers. Like, this is a guy
and tight ends. In a system. Don't forget tight ends.
This is a guy that was in a system that was not super favorable to a wide receiver, and he's coming in to
but how much is the wide receiver 3 pulling off of our 2 top receivers though?
Well, the biggest thing is what I was just about to say right there. Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore gets the most out of a wide receiver 3 out of any offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Okay.
He utilizes wide receiver 3s at a higher rate than anybody else. I mean, you saw just guys have incredible breakout years. Michael Gallup had that incredible season under Kellen Moore. You had a number of different wide receiver 3s just show up and show out under Kellen Moore. He's able to really figure out and pick on mismatches. How many times did we see last year a starting corner, one of their top safeties and all goes out for a series or 2 with like a little small injury. And if one of our guys went out, you're seeing the other team being like, oh, we're picking on that guy.
Yeah.
He's new. We're picking on him. The opposing team of the Eagles went out. Brian Johnson's like, well, let's give him his time to get his feet under him. Yeah. We don't want to pick on him. That's rude. And Kellen Moore's like, he knows.
Yeah, Johnson was not.
He knows how to pick on the weakness of the defense. And if he sees a mismatch and he says, I got Devontae Parker, who's a veteran in the NFL. I got Paris Campbell, who's a veteran in the NFL.
Yeah.
Against this guy who I know is not a match for either of these 2. I'm going to pick on him for the next series until they move somebody over to help him out. And you're going to see that a whole lot more. You're going to see we're going to go from dead last in pre-snap motion to probably top 5 in the NFL in pre-snap motion. This offense is going to be absolutely humming. So when you're talking about we only took 3 offensive players. So I believe we took 4 of the 9. So slightly less than 50%. We took a guard or a tackle. I don't know. An offensive
guard,
lineman.
Trevor King.
Yeah, an offensive lineman, 2 wide receivers, and a running back. Also, Will Shipley.
That's the next thing I wanted to talk about. What is his? I mean, with Saquon. I mean, come on, it's Saquon. I hate him on the Giants. I love him on the.
Scott's gone.
I love him on the Eagles.
Yeah. And the big thing, I was talking to shout out Walt. I jumped his car. If you're tuning in, Walt, I know you usually tune into these. Appreciate it. Feel free to call in. But I was talking with him yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, like paying the Saquon." You know, it's you rarely see the Eagles go out when the offensive line that they have, you rarely see them go out and pay a premium for running backs and all. And I said, well, they didn't pay a premium for running back. They paid a premium for a weapon.
They did.
Because he's going to get more than 500 receiving yards.
He will.
My hot take for the season was, and again, this is the hot take. So not like
hot take.
I expect this to happen. This is like, hey, my hot take is this could happen.
Yeah.
Is Saquon Barkley over 2,000 all-purpose yards.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be about 600 receiving and 1,400 rushing.
Okay. Yeah. I'm about there
Because
with you. I would say like 15.5, but yeah. It's I don't disagree with 2,000 all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore, you just talked about him. He's getting the ball to the weak
and
point.
People talk about, Kellen Moore, he abandons the run. That was a big thing people talked about once we officially announced him as the offensive coordinator. Look at the teams that he was the offensive coordinator on. Look at their rushing stats. He doesn't abandon the run. He doesn't lean into it. He's not, the Titans offensive coordinator where it's just Derrick Henry every day. He's not the Ravens offensive coordinator where it's, hey, Lamar, hey, Gus, Bus, get out there and go wild. But he's usually a top half of the NFL, usually a top 10 rushing team in the NFL under Kellen Moore. And it's kind of overblown when people are like, oh, he abandons the run. He just sticks with the pass. But also when you have A.J. Brown, you have Devontae Smith, Kenny, why am I saying Kenny Gainwell? I'm talking about Dallas Goedert. You're talking about Saquon Barkley this year. And then we're not even mentioning Devontae Parker, Paris Campbell, or Anais Smith, or Will Shipley, or Kenny Gainwell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I just pulled it up right here.
Pass a little bit.
Led the league 2021 with the Cowboys, 407 offensive yards per game. We have 31.2 points per game. And then tying for second in passing yards, 282.4.
Yeah.
So that's still 120, 130 yards of rushing a game.
I mean, you want to talk about hot takes. We're talking about 2,000 all-purpose yards for Saquon. I mean, this could be close to a 5,000-yard passing season.
It could be a monster year.
It could be. You're talking about probably minimum 1,500 for A.J. Brown if he stays healthy.
So let me throw this one over to you. Are they limiting Hurts scramble rush?
Brian Johnson was. I don't know if they'll do that with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, it's just going to be like, hey, what works?
They're going to free the beast.
I hope so. I mean, they're still worried about injury. I think that was something that probably came down from up top.
It might have.
And I don't know if it was some lagging knee injury because he had that briefly in the season. He didn't have the same pop that he had 2 years ago.
Yeah, his
runs were he looked slow.
And he does that silly high kick thing. Yeah, I hate that. Let me try to fake jump over you and then get tackled for it.
It's like a jump cut. When you do that, you don't know when his foot lands. Is he going left or right? Because it's like
he's just going right there.
I'm saying that's what he's attempted to do to try to fool him.
So you're another hot take. Jalen Hurts, more or less rushing yards than last season?
He'll probably go over.
Okay.
I think they'll probably go over just because he had a pretty down year with rushing. I think Jordan Mailata getting the money he did, locking him in. He's poised for a great season. Lane Johnson, for Lane Johnson's sake, had for him probably a down year. For any other right tackle in the NFL, an incredible year. I expect him to play great. Landon Dickerson's going to do great. I'm big on Tyler Steen until proven otherwise. I think that people we never address guard. That's going to be a real serious problem. First of all, we did in free agency. We signed, I can't even remember his name right now. We did so much research on so many different Philly teams today. But we signed a guard. We have Tyler Steen, who was a third-round pick last year, was only given a very brief amount of opportunity to come in there and show what he can do. And in the few starts that he had, I thought he looked fine. Yeah. I thought he did fine. He looked a little better than Sua Opeta in a lot of those starts. And so I think Tyler Steen is going to do a fine job. And then I'm going to have to believe that Cam Jurgens is going to be incredible at center. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was hand-selected by Jason Kelce.
They have mentored, groomed. That's a weird way to say it. Sorry. But, taught.
Yeah.
And if Jason Kelce is handing off to him, I support that.
Yeah. Jeff Stoutland and Jason Kelce hand-selected this guy to be his replacement. So, again, I'm going to have to assume that he's going to be a top 5 center in the NFL.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise, he's going to be incredible because we had the best center in NFL history and the best offensive line coach in NFL history hand select this guy.
So you want to break up the whole off season? You want to do free agency and draft, or you just want to lump it together?
Yeah, I mean, as far as expectations go, I thought they slightly exceeded expectations in free agency. They didn't go crazy, but they got Saquon. They locked in CJ GJ for a while, and those are your two big signs.
I mean, the Reddick thing hurt, but
yeah, no, it's a shame.
I'm not knocking them for that because.
But essentially, look, if we told you this, you're getting, let's say this is a trade. Hey, we'll give you Huff and a second for Reddick. You're taking that trade, right?
Yeah, probably.
Essentially, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because we got Huff in free agency, and we're most likely going to get a second round pick for Hassan Reddick because he's met the requirements the past 4 straight seasons that they've set to have his third become a second. And so if you told me, hey, they're offering us Huff and a second for Hassan Reddick, I'm like, yeah, you take that.
Yeah. So, no, from a business standpoint, from a smart Howie cap wizard, we've talked about it before.
He wanted and he deserves to get paid. It stinks that he's most likely not going to get paid this year.
Yeah.
We gave him up. And the other argument is you could have signed Huff like we just did, and you could have let Hassan play this season under the contract because it appears that he's willing to.
Yeah.
And then you would have gotten a third in a compensatory pick for him anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the argument. If he was willing to actually play under this deal, then you let him walk in free agency and you get a third round compensatory pick for him. And you have him, Huff, Nolan Smith, you got Brandon Graham come back.
If we had him for one more year and we stare down the barrel, fine. But there's also something to be said about if a player requests a trade, you honor that. The Eagles are pretty good. I think it was
more of a, hey, we are moving on without you. I don't think it was a, hey, he wants out. This is his hometown team.
That's not how I read it. I think the Eagles are pretty good about honoring.
I don't think he requested. I think it was a, hey, we're not going to pay you. If you want to go to a team that you feel like will help facilitate that.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing. You're just saying half dozen. I'm saying 6.
I don't know.
Anyway, so overall expectations off season, Eagles, yay or nay?
Expectations slightly exceeded.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Draft right now, they killed it. I mean, heavily exceeded expectations. The one thing you can argue is they didn't really go out and get one of the top linebackers, but when you get Cooper and you get Mitchell in the first 2 picks, and then you're like, all right, well, where would we have taken a linebacker?
Yeah.
Third round pick. That's a roll of after you took those 2 guys, you're like, all right, anybody we're taking now is a roll of dice.
Yeah.
And so
no, I would grade.
They still probably are going to bring back Zach Cunningham somewhere late in the offseason like they did last year. And he did fine. He was the best linebacker on the team. That's not saying much.
Yeah.
But he was a hell of a lot better than Nakobe Dean. And then Jeremiah Trotter Jr. It's a fun story. It's really cool. And also in his defense, you can't grade heart. And this guy is going to put everything he can in to be as much of a legend that his dad was. You know what I mean?
It's exactly what we were talking about with the Sixers, but in reverse.
Yeah.
Play hard, get the most you can out of it.
This guy's doing everything he can. I mean, when he sacks a quarterback and does the axe celebration, the stadium's going to erupt. It's going to go nuts. I mean, it's going to go nuts for a sack anyway, but it's going to go extra nuts for him doing the Axeman celebration after his first sack.
And
he's
that only
do everything he can.
That only adds to how animalistic the link is. Like, we need
how
people.
It can be. Yeah.
It's mostly.
Typically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your days where we're silenced or we're playing bad, but
no, it's typically one of the wildest.
Coming into Philadelphia, playing that game, I think they drafted a lot of people that want to be here. They have a lot of beer. They have a lot of people who are going to really rile the crowd up, and I think I vote this a little bit higher, but I'm not going like A+ here. I'm saying exceeding expectations.
You're saying free agency or draft?
I'll combine them. I'll say free agency and draft. I'm going
probably
exceeding expectations. I'm very happy with it.
At face value before we've seen any of them play, I'm probably at like A-.
Yeah.
The only thing you could have done is...
I was going to say B+, A-.
I mean, the only thing that I was like, was when Patrick Queen signed for the price that he did. I was like, at that price, I feel like we should have been involved in that. Patrick Queen, probably the best linebacker that was in free agency.
Yeah.
But you never know what's going on. He could have been like, nope, I'm going to my division rival Packers, and we're going to go wild. And
there you go.
No, I'm not going anywhere else. But when he only got, I don't remember exactly his contract, but I remember it being less than I had assumed it was going to be. And I wish the Eagles were a little bit more involved with that. But that's really like one of the only moves that I was like, man, that would have been big.
Yeah, I think in the continuum of it, very happy.
Oh yeah.
I would agree with your A-. I was thinking, B+, A-.
Yeah. So let me ask you this with the Phillies. How much does too early weigh? Does it weigh on both sides? Because when they're last year, all we heard was it's too early.
It's too early. It's too early.
It's still early.
It's still
early. They're 10 games below 500. Still early.
No.
So now they have the most wins in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow are still second in their own division.
Yeah,
I understand
a
how
weird technicality.
Braves have played
whatever.
3 less games or 4 less games. I get it. Is it still early? Or because they're winning, is it now, oh, this team's incredible?
No, so that I've never been a subscriber, oh, it's still early, or it's too early, or it's too late, or, this team is doing very well. It's not it's not because it's early.
I'm going to say in spite of a manager that I don't think is doing a super great job.
Listen, we've played a lot of bad teams, but you know what you should do as a good team?
Beat bad teams.
Beat bad teams. And we've been doing that. We've been taking 2 or 3 of the series. We've been hitting very, very well. Our pitching is out of this world. What are we? 1.63, 1.73 ERA for starting pitchers.
You can pull it up there. It's something ridiculous. I mean, in my
something
lifetime,
crazy.
In my lifetime, I've never seen a stretch of starting pitching like this ever. I have never seen starting pitching be this incredible for this amount of time in my lifetime. And like Taijuan Walker came back.
See if I can find it.
I have mixed feelings about it. Look, I'm never going to root against one of our guys. Just look up MLB starting pitching.
That's what I found.
Just throughout the MLB, like team MLB starting pitching, whatever. You need me to find it?
I'm just blind.
Yeah. If you want to hide something, put it right in front of me. I'll never find it.
So
no, I mean, this starting pitching is incredible, but we're losing games because of our manager. Putting Sir Anthony Dominguez in these high leverage situations after he's shown you. Oh, good.
Found it.
We're down 19.
Hey,
my phone died.
That's not good.
So I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah. So the Phillies are total combined pitching, including relievers, are 7th with 3.37.
We have 9 points, 8 minutes into the first quarter. That's incredible.
Starting pitchers are 1.67. So our starting 5 is killing it. I mean, Ranger, Mr. Ranger. Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Ranger. Mr. Ranger. I mean, he's the man. I didn't want to put it because people are like, you jinxed it. 2 weeks ago, $50, Ranger Suarez, NL Cy Young.
Yeah.
That's going to net me $2,000.
He's our 3rd pitcher.
He's number 3. I mean, really, he's number 2.
Any other team, he'd be a number 1.
Yeah. I mean, he's at 1.37 ERA. He had 32 2/3 innings scoreless. 32 2/3 straight innings scoreless. That is insane. And then the one that he gave up, you could have argued. I mean, look, I don't blame Rob in this scenario for leaving him out there, but you could have argued, hey, after 7 scoreless, maybe you take him out. They had a 5-0, 6-0 lead, something like that.
I mean, let the man cook.
You let it. No, exactly. So that wasn't one where I was like, Rob, what are you doing?
We aren't chasing records. We're chasing pennants.
Yeah.
And
but he's
so
incredibly good. He should win a Gold Glove this year.
We have Ranger at a 1.32 ERA. And we have
Wheeler's got to be sub 2.
Wheeler 1.91. Nola, it's 3.2, but
that's still
he got beat up. It's still very good.
3.2 is still a very good ERA.
And then
that's ERA through 9.
So here's the big one: Spencer Turnbull.
Oh, incredible! And people are sitting here. Oh, Spencer Turnbull hasn't pitched in the past 3 years over 100 innings. So you can't have him be your 5th starter. What's going to happen to him?
I mean,
is his arm going to explode?
He's right up there with the rest of our pitchers. I mean, so he has 31.2 innings pitched.
What's his ERA?
Oh, 1.67.
Yeah.
Easy. 2 wins And
they're like, oh, he's already at a third of the innings that he's thrown in his career in a season.
So are you making him
compete
compete for that spot, or are you saying?
Well, no, you're saying that you're letting your payroll dictate who's playing. You're saying we paid Taijuan Walker this amount of money, and look, in some senses, I can understand it. You're trying to show him off to possibly get somebody to buy him.
I mean,
but
I said this at the end of last year. We should be selling off Taijuan Walker.
No, I said, yeah. I mean, I said
we both agreed on this. He didn't even pitch in the playoffs.
This was before I even thought Turnbull could be anything. I said the best case scenario for the Phillies is Mick Abel shows what he can be and shows that he can be a midseason call-up. I'm going to pull up Mick Abel's stats. I don't know how he's been doing thus far in the minors, but my best case scenario is Mick Abel shows that he can be a service, not even a serviceable, a solid starting pitching, and then you just sell Taijuan to whatever, and you immediately bring up Mick Abel. You sell Taijuan for a reliever, for a right-handed bench bat, whatever you need to be able to bring him up and have him come. Oof. 6.23.
Not good. Not good.
Oof, Mick. What are you doing to me, bud?
I mean, let's talk about Jeff Hoffman, though. He's played in 14 games.
Jeff Hoffman's the man.
He is.
He's had a couple of not great outings, but he's
this season. He's
1.29
ERA.
Yeah.
14 innings pitched in 14 games. They bring him in for 1 inning.
Yeah, he's a shutdown guy.
It is.
You bring him in to just calm the waters.
Well, how do you feel about Kerkering being our closer?
He's not a closer.
Could he be?
No, not yet.
He has
the potential to be.
I like
He's got high 90s fastball.
I love it.
He's got the most snap on a slider that I've ever witnessed. I mean, he could develop into that. It's too early.
So I think if you get this guy, one person on your team, you're saying, hey, you're closing every night. You're our 8th, 9th.
Yeah, and that's
pitcher.
what I've been kind of talking about that for a while, that you need to just say Alvarado's our closer.
Yeah, you need to establish it. So the guy knows that's when he's coming in.
Yep.
You're saving your arms, start getting warmed up. I think that Kerkering can do it for us. I mean, he's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
And sure, the whole flu thing that kind of wasn't the flu, but maybe he lost 30 pounds in 30 days. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he's back up.
No, he's back up. He's looking fine. What's his stat line?
Kerkering is...
Golly, I can't believe McCable's having this bad of a year. What's Griff McGarry doing?
Kerkering is 6 games played, 6.2 innings pitched.
Yeah.
You know his ERA?
I don't.
It's 0.00.
Oh, he hasn't given up.
He has
not given up an earned run.
He has not given up an earned run.
He's had an allowed run or an unearned run.
An
inherited run, if you will.
I don't think so.
Oof, Griff McGarry, you're stinking too. Golly, what are we doing here, people? These were guys that were untouchable in the eyes of
and now they're
Dave
just like
Dombrowski.
sitting in our farm system, not doing anything. But
untouchable guys that are just
so back on track. We the ADHD kings here. Phillies expectations.
We're down 22.
I think that we are exceeding my expectations were high, but we are exceeding it. We started the past 2 seasons going down, struggling to get back to 500. We're playing well. We're hitting the ball. You want to talk
the
about
offense did a 180.
You want to talk about your guy Bomer?
You want to talk about somebody that's happy this year? Anybody that knows me knows I'm the biggest boom guy there is. Boom guy.
He's got a Bomer right now thinking about talking about this.
Just, I mean, biggest boom guy you can have. Also, put a $50 wager on Boom. NL MVP.
I saw that in the group chat.
Put that in there. And I so desperately tried to put it in like 3 days before where his stats were so bad. All of the local sportsbook apps here didn't even have him listed. They had JT, Schwarber, Turner, Harper, all as options. Where like Turner's having a very good year.
Yeah.
Turner's having a great year.
He's having a great
Boom's having a better year. Boom has
Turner is playing how we need to
how
be.
we expected him to play.
Yes.
JT's not having a great start. Schwarber's been up and down, but he's having better than last year. Bryce is not having a great start. All of them were options for NL MVP. And Alec Boehm, when he was batting 350 with a 1,000 OPS, a 450 on base percentage, and 22 RBIs was not an option. It wasn't until he did it for like 2 more games.
Yeah, until
they were like, all right, now he's the 10th most likely to win it. And I was like, why didn't you let me bet on him when he was the 50th most likely? And I could have gotten plus 20,000 odds and placed a $50 wager for 10 grand. Still got him at plus 8,000. So 50 for 4,000. And I also desperately tried to parlay the Ranger Suarez Cy Young, Alec Boehm MVP into a single 2-leg parlay.
No way.
That would have been $50 for like 100,000.
Yeah, they're gonna shut you
but
down.
They wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah, no wonder. I wonder.
That would have been incredible.
All right, so Alec Boehm leads the Phillies in batting average.
Look up just Major League Baseball.
He's probably up there. I mean, it's 362. We got Turner. Brandon Marsh is playing very well. Schwarber is higher than he ended last season. So I count that as a win. He's currently at 211, but he's hitting shore bombs. And you know, I've said this so many times, Jake. I love him leading off. I love him getting up in an inning, whether to start the game.
Alec Boehm in all of baseball.
He's number 2
in batting average. In all of baseball, he is. Where is he in? Oh, he's 4th in OPS. So on base percentage probably isn't. Oh, he's 3rd. Yeah, never mind. He's 3rd in on base percentage. RBIs, he is 2nd in all of baseball.
He's crushing
with RBIs, and he's doing this with 4 home runs. He has only 20 strikeouts. I mean, this guy is he's 6th in hits. I mean, it's just, and this is, I believe I have this for, I have it for all of baseball. All of baseball. Let's look at the National League. Shout out Trey Turner, way up there. He's 2nd in hits in the National League. Alec Boehm is 4th. In the National League, he's also 2nd behind Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is slightly ahead of him in almost every category. So there's a reason why he's the favorite right now to win NL MVP.
If you had to guess, Jake, who is leading the Phillies in home runs?
It's Kyle Schwarber.
It is Kyle Schwarber.
It's Kyle Schwarber. 2nd, I believe, is Brandon Marsh.
It's yes, tie. Brandon Marsh and Bryce Harper. Yeah. But like that's the allure of it.
We have guys hitting the cover off the ball.
I mean,
Castellanos is slowly showing a little tiny bit of something.
Yeah, he's little
bit
of
it. Something. God, Alec Boehm is so good. So
30 RBIs. Schwarber actually not bad with 19. Harper 18.
Ozuna is the only guy with more RBIs than him in baseball.
Yeah,
incredible. So expectations. I expect the Sixers to lose the game. Well, look at the run they went on. They were down 22. Now they're only down 14.
Getting back into it.
Good for them. I'm gonna go out there and turn the game on myself. Good, good for them.
Yeah.
Down 22.
Making it happen.
Now it's only a 14-point game. Hopefully they can get one more bucket. Make it an 11-point game.
Selfishly, I hope they win so that Adam can buy those tickets and make a little bit more money. But I hope they also lose so that we can hang out with them more.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, it's we'll see. We'll see what sorts out there.
Yeah. So look, we talked about tailgate on Friday. If you're going to go down to the game, definitely check us out. We're going to be having delicious ice cold Dewey beer there, hand out for free. We're going to have some sweet Dewey beer hats.
Yeah, we have a ton of hats.
Ton of swag. We're going to have the bucket golf tournament, rain or shine, as long as the game's on. If the game's postponed, I'm not going there.
I'm going.
Oh, stop.
I'm
by yourself.
Okay, fine. I'm driving you. So like you can just sit in the truck and pout. But
if they said the game is canceled, do not expect us to be there.
Okay.
Giveaway is going until 6 p.m. tomorrow. Definitely want to hop in there, check that out. Shout out Bucket Golf, Dewey Beer, Delaware Orthopedic Specialists, Tackle Up, White Glove Car Wash, and all of our other wonderful friends. I appreciate it for everybody that hung out in here. Those cans make the beer look good. This is a koozie, but still a lovely can.
I have a Super Bowl koozie from the ones that the Eagles lost, but
shout out.
Hey.
Yeah, go Birds.